boy, 3 a.m. Guys, a new Splatoon 3 patch is coming into the game on the 30th if you live in America, and the 31st if you live anywhere else on the right side of the world. I am on the right side of the world. Either way, bunch of new stuff that we have to check out. It is literally 3 a.m., but I want to make this video just so it's out and I don't have to think about it. Anyways, let's get into it. So you see here, version 8.0 releasing May 30th, 2024. Bunch of new changes coming in. Of course, there's a new season coming through, Sizzle Season 2024. I've talked to you guys about this in previous videos. We have to go down here to see what they have changed. So for this patch in particular, guys, a lot of weapons have the same damage dealt to splash roll increased by 10%. I'm going to go through all of these weapons for you just so I'm not saying the same thing and we can just get through this already. So the Sploosh-O-Matic, damage dealt to splash roll by 10%, same with the Splash Shot Junior, same with the Arrow Spray, same with the Lunar Blaster, same with the Clash Blaster, same with the Carbon Roller, same with the Splat Roller, same with the Ink Brush, same with the Octo Brush, and same with the Daffle Dualies as well. 9 weapons that have damage dealt to splash roll by 10%. Now, just before some of you guys start panicking, like, oh my god, I'm a 52 gal main, I'm a 96 gal main, I use the squeezer, or some weapon that has a splash roll, I need you to not panic, because a good majority of these weapons, in terms of their own damage output, they don't do a significant amount of damage where it's just like, wow, you're just going to be seeing your splash rolls get shredded, super shredded, like really quickly. Maybe besides, like, I guess, well, actually no, it's just a Sploosh-O-Matic, it's not even the splash, but, and not really too many people using Sploosh, and Sploosh has to get really close up to a wall just to even like destroy it, so that's actually a fair buff to Sploosh, honestly. But like I said, a lot of these weapons are not really going to be super challenged by a splash wall to be able to shred it super quickly, because their damage output in general is not the highest anyway. So it's just like, it's enough to splash wall, but it's not like on a weapon that's really popular, like the Splatter Shot, like the Squeezer, like every 52 gal, 96 gal, like all the super strong weapons that we currently have right now. None of those weapons are being buffed to be able to do more damage to the splash wall. So just to clear that up, just in case people were like a little bit scared, like, oh my god, what are they doing to splash wall? Does the devs now just hate splash wall and all that type of jazz? No, it has absolutely nothing to do with that. And I think all around it's fair, even because, I mean, currently right now splash wall is only so strong, if I'm going to be very honest. It already gets shredded quite quickly by most weapons in the game. To be honest, they should buff the splash wall in my opinion, but it is what it is. So yeah, just want to go through that. Now let's go through some other weapons. So for the N-zap, they've increased the time it takes for the chance of shots scattering, which increases when firing continuously to reach its maximum. So reading this is basically a N-zap buff. So they're talking about the shot scattering. It's basically when you're shooting with the N-zap, and for how, like, if you didn't know, with every single shooter in the game, the longer that you hold the fire button, the more inaccurate the weapon is going to get. But what they're mentioning here is that if you're using an N-zap, if you're doing that exact thing, the N-zap should remain more accurate over time. So basically, when you're firing continuously, just running around shooting, most of your shots with the N-zap should be fairly accurate. So that's actually quite a nice buff for it. And if you use a lot of N-zap right now, that's quite nice. For the L3 Nozzlenose, maximum damage has been increased from 29 damage to 31 damage. Very nice. I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't used the L3 so much in this game. I didn't even know it did 29 damage. That's kind of like appalling to me. But hey, buff to 31 damage, I'll take it. I mean, any damage buff is always welcome, so a little bit more damage for the L3, hell, why not? For the Rapid Blaster, they've reduced the amount of time it takes for ink to begin recovering after firing by about 20 frames. Okay, so somewhat this makes the Rapid Blaster just a little bit more ink efficient, because there's just going to be that window where you're going to be actually able to recover your ink after firing. So I mean, I didn't even know it needed that, but hey, it's a nice buff. We'll take it if you use a lot of Rapid Blaster. Hey, pretty nice buff to have. Going down to the bottom here, the Tri-Stringer, the area of terrain inked by falling spray has been increased, which is basically a painting buff to the Tri-Stringer, which it already painted like a bunch already, so Very, very nice. And adjusted the positioning of falling ink spray to make it easier to connect ink in an uninterpreted straight line. Okay. So basically the Tri-Stringer has received another painting buff. I mean, I'm not going to say no to it, but that's always very, very nice. I wonder how much now the Inkline Tri-Stringer is now going to be able to paint, because Inkline Tri-Stringer with, I believe it has, I think it's Sprinkler and Chump. Like that weapon paints so ridiculous. Like I don't even understand why haven't people figured that weapon out yet? Because that weapon is so good. I mean, there's a fair few people who do use Tri-Stringer every now and then, but that weapon is so paint heavy. It's so nice to use as a thing. So that's cool. I think that's really, really cool. And for the REEF-LUX, they've made it possible to charge midair in the same speed as when you're on the ground. So the REEF-LUX is getting the Squiffer treatment, being able to now jump and also charge a shot at the same time. That's so sick. That's so sick. I'm going back to playing this weapon again. This weapon is gonna be so much fun to play. So yeah, this is a sick buff. I really like this one. And that is basically it for the main weapons. We're now moving on to special weapons. For the Reef Slider, now inks along the rails as the rails extended before launch. When the active terrain is moving, the rails will now move along with it. So I'm going to assume what this means is that when you go in as a Reef Slider, it's going to make a trail of ink as you're basically riding the Reef Slider. So that's why I assumed just what that means. But hey, I guess that's pretty cool. The Reef Slider just gets a nice painting buff, I guess. For the Big Bubbler, it now inks the ground where it's placed. I really want to know how, like, is it just like a whole field of ink, like inside the bubble? Because if that's the case, that's really big. But if it's just like a smidge of ink, it's going to be like kind of whatever. But if it develops a bunch of ink when you place it down on the ground, that's actually really hype. I would love to see if that's the case. So please make that happen. For the ink vacuum, the ground slightly behind the user will now be inked periodically while it's active. So I assume when you're sucking in all the opposing ink from the other team, basically ink is going to develop behind your character. Okay, cool. I mean, it is what it is. And for the splatter color screen, they've increased the damage dealt to the following when touched by the screen: Squid Beacon, Sprinkler, Splash Wall, a Sponge, and the Rainmaker Shield. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea the splatter color screen even did damage to any of these things other than players. I mean, I knew, of course, players, but no idea that it did any of this. So I wonder if this would like completely destroy a Splash Wall, completely destroy a Sprinkler, Squid Beacon, whatever. Because that's actually really good, especially if it's like you're using a splatter color screen to specifically take out beacons. I think that's actually like a really nice way to actually go about it. But that's interesting to say the least. We're going to move on to some special point changes, which there isn't much. The Big Swig Roller Express, I had no idea this was even at 200, but it's gone from 200 to 190. Same with the Paintbrush, and they've nerfed the custom E-liter to 200 to 210. So it's going to get cracking basically a little less, but I don't even really think that's going to really affect the E-liter at all, to be very honest. The E-liter is kind of one of those weapons where it's like, okay, I mean, you can nerf my special, but I'm going to be just standing here because I'm an E-liter and I'll get my special when I get it. And, you know, it is what it is. So it's a change, but I don't think it's going to really do much. Either way, that is the patch notes. To be very honest, I wasn't expecting like a huge thing of changes, especially from the last patch. Like, we got a bunch of stuff before, and I'm just like, okay, I mean, that's a bunch of stuff. And usually when it comes to, like, I guess updates, when there's new weapons coming into the game, I feel like the devs are always a little bit hesitant in terms of like what they're going to change in, because they kind of want to see how the new weapons are probably going to work in what's it called, of course the new season, all that type of stuff. And especially since there's so many new weapons, it's more of a thing of they have to figure out how those weapons are going to work within the current environment before they actually start making changes, which I think is fair. But of course, they are planning to do another patch midway through Sizzle season, so it's something that we have to look out for as well. But a couple of things I'd love to be changed. I think they need to change Tacticooler to make it much shorter. Like, I feel like I want to make a video of like why they should make Tacticooler shorter, because it being like 14-17 seconds for however long it lasts it's too long in my honest opinion. It's just way too long, and I feel like they need to buff the H3. That's all I need. Other than that, I think that's all that really needs to be looked at. And yeah, what do you guys think in the comment section below? What do you guys think of this new patch? Are you scared about the splashful nerf? It's not really a splashful nerf, to be honest, but just wanted to make this video just real quick. Hope you guys enjoyed, and look forward to next season. I'm going to be streaming it, and it's going to be sick. You guys better come out to that stream, alright? So thank you so much, guys. I shall see you guys later, and have a good rest of your day.